I would never presume to second guess what President Trump may or may not decide. And that's the sort of the great unknown of this situation, as you're aware. Um, there are signs that he is losing patience with President Trump, with President Putin, that he feels President Putin has perhaps not been completely straight with him in the discussions. Whether that will lead him to conclude that America should put additional sanctions on Russia is an open question. He wants to do. They, of course, have raised the question of tariffs. I think many in Europe, and indeed I think Canada and the UK, are slightly less convinced that blanket tariffs against countries that are importing oil would really have the desired effect. And I think we continue to believe we need to work more on the ports, the shadow fleet, the refineries. We think this is a way of having an equivalent impact of reducing Russia's revenue from oil and gas exports. We also have included, of course, LNG in the 19 package, and we are accelerating the phase out of our residual dependence on Russian oil, particularly for a couple of member states who have some specific problems in this regard. And the line for security was enormous. So I was really glad. We know that there are a couple of member states, particularly Hungary and Slovakia, who have also technical problems because their refineries are particularly adapted to Russian crude, and it's difficult for them to easily to switch to other sources. We've been working with them. We encourage them to move as quickly as possible. So anything that the US can do to put additional pressure on those member states to accelerate their change of their sourcing of their crude oil would be very welcome. A concern, I don't know whether this is President Trump or just people around him, that all the indicators in the Russian economy are flashing red. Russia is struggling economically. They're running out of money. They are struggling with high interest rates, high inflation, with a squeezed labor market, companies being forced to take bad loans by the government to finance the war economy. So all of this is indicative of the extent of the pressure Russia is under as a result of our sanctions.